Here with head coach Sean Kiracofe, Lady Demons back out on the road this week. Corpus and HCU, maybe not in that order, but we're heading to those places. And with that in mind, going to those two teams and we talked about last week, where it's almost a crapshoot as to how the conference is going to shake out at this point. But it feels like a real opportunity for us, even over the next 2 weeks, with the schedule that we have ahead of us, to make some moves, so to speak. And is that kind of how you guys are approaching at least this first two matches of that season?
Yeah, I mean, just like we talked about the last time we spoke. It's crazy right now with the conference. Everyone's close, everyone's beatable, and so that creates opportunities that we're looking forward to. But tough matchups. We happen to be playing, with the exception of Commerce, I do have to admit that, well on the road. And we joked about that the other day of like, where, we know these are going to be tough matches. We know that they're winnable matches. And the joke was, luckily we're on the road to do it. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, and Houston Christian and Corpus have had their struggles here this last weekend. So we'll see what happens.
You mentioned the success on the road. What do you attribute that to? Is it going back to the preseason schedule, playing all of those tournaments and pretty much the entire non-conference schedule on the road? Just, do you think it's built that sort of comfortability that they have on the road?
I think that plays a role. I mean, for better or for worse, we play the majority of our matches on the road, and so you just kind of get used to it. And honestly, I enjoy being on the road. Don't tell my wife and kids that. That's not what I mean. It's just, when you're on the road, I mean, it is just volleyball. Right. I mean, that's what you're there for. And while it's great to play here at home and to have the fans, it's just when you can focus on, this is exactly what we're here on a business trip for, there's just a different feeling about it. So we can focus on it a little bit more. And like we said, for better or for worse, we play a lot of games on the road, and so you just kind of get used to that daily process of getting ready for that match.
And even with us being on the road on Thursday at HCU, in some ways, for a lot of the team, it'll feel a little bit normal because they're from the area. Jordan's from Katy, Bree. I mean, the list goes down of all the players from the area. So I feel like they have a little bit more to give on that match against HCU.
Yeah, there's Reagan, there's Amina, there's Laura. The list could keep going on. I'm sure I left somebody out there. We're definitely going to have a crowd at HCU, and that's always good. But then that also, from a coach's standpoint, that creates different distractions, But yeah, I mean, they'll feel comfortable. It is going home for them.
So looking at that match specifically, it was one of those tightly contested ones we saw here between both HCU and Corpus. What do we take into this new matchup as we want to kind of do what McNeese did to us and sort of flip the script on them?
It's a great question. I don't know how to answer it, only because both teams have had a little adjustments to their roster. They haven't quite solidified exactly. I'll just say there's going to be a little bit of a different personnel out there, or they're going to be in different positions, but we're the exact same. So we've made little changes here and there in the last couple matches. And I mean, it creates the situation to where, it's just opportunities and get on a roll. But then at the same time, when you show up, if whatever we're doing works, they may be making some substitutions, and we may see some different people to where we've got to refigure out exactly how we're going to approach them. So all teams, Houston Christian, Corpus, and ourselves, may go out there and show one thing, but by set two, it could be something a little bit different, which is creates an interesting situation.
Right, exactly. You mentioned some of the changes that we made. Is our ability to make those adjustments. You've seen Reagan move to the right side a little bit more frequently over the past few matches. Are you able to do that now because the team as a whole is kind of figured each other out more so than they were at the beginning of the year, and you're able to make those sort of minor tweaks?
I think that plays a lot to it, and then it's just depth of talent. just depth to where we have a lot of people that can play different positions and a lot of people that can immediately step in and produce, which is not something we've always had, especially in the most recent seasons. But we actually have it now, and that just allows us to create, some different looks for teams.
All right, well, certainly going to be 2 tough matches. When you're playing HCU and Corpus back-to-back, it's always a challenge. So best of luck, and we'll talk to you again next week, Coach.
Thank you.